welcome aboard the Aussie Princess, and we're going to take a trip along the river today and explore the history of the Brisbane River. Over here we've got Damien.
Hey!
He used to be at the well on some of the Kookaburra Queen vessels.
Yeah, quite a few of the other little charter boats around.
Okay, so he knows the river better than anyone.
I wouldn't say anyone, but...
Got an absolutely beautiful day today here. Before we get underway, I'm just going to take a little look on the inside. Here we are. Oh, it's beautiful. Lovely vessel. Got fridge and microwave and something with dials and buttons and lights on it. This is Philip. This is his bow. His bow.
There you go!
Alright, so to set the scene, everyone, the Brisbane River is about 40 million years old, and it has achieved its current course and shape about 10 million years ago. The riverbed has been dated to about 10 million years ago. Where we are right now is we're heading towards Gibson Island, and just over that way is Bulimba Creek. It's just over that way there. And Bulimba Creek used to flow directly into the Brisbane River, but a long time ago they built a seawall and they blocked off the creek, so the creek cannot flow into the Brisbane River here. It now goes around Gibson Island. And interestingly, there were plague victims in 1900 who were buried on Gibson Island. It's a very, very flat, very mangrovey island, well it was, and they were buried on the highest point. There was only about 14 people buried on the island, but it was impossible for relatives to go there and pay respects to their relatives, so they shut that down. Today it's all industries and buildings. So I'm just going to take a walk along the port side of Aussie Princess. This is very cool. And up onto the bow. So round about this area here where the boat is now, apparently there used to be an island called Egg Island. It was right about here because Bulimba Creek used to flow out here. So about this spot here, Egg Island, it had trees on it, had vegetation, but with dredging and embankments on either side and changes of currents and the increased currents that would come through, the island just got washed away. And now we're going to turn around and we're going to head towards the city and ultimately towards Toowong. And I don't know how well my hat's going to stay on today, so I'll probably be doing this. Yeah, we're going into the headwind now. I might have to change hats. It was in September 1824 that the Redcliffe Penal Settlement was founded. The Brisbane colony was the Redcliffe one, but shifted down here, and that happened in May 1825. I keep waving at people, I don't know why, I don't know who they are. And the Brisbane River was named by explorer and surveyor John Oxley. He named it after Sir Thomas Brisbane, who at the time was the governor of New South Wales. I think he was the governor from 1821 to 1825. So the river was named first. This was the Brisbane River, and then after the Moreton Bay Penal Settlement was closed, the town took on the name of Brisbane after the river. Even though it's a very calm day today, I'm pretty sure at some point my hat will blow off. So I've come prepared. I brought another hat with me. Just over that side of the river, we've just passed under the Gateway Bridge. That's the golf course there. That whole area there was very, very thick rainforest, very thick, and it went all the way down virtually to Breakfast Creek. They're good. I'm going to go on up. I'm going to go up and bother them. Yeah. I saw them. I was looking around thinking none of the girls that we held on last. I used to find fossils at Colmsley Reserve. Okay. Yeah, I found tons and tons of fossils. Just plants. and took them to the Queensland Museum. Where we are now, coming up to Comsley, there were sandbars coming across the river, and the Indigenous people could walk across the river. So this whole area here to our starboard, these were known as the Hamilton Flats, and they came way out into the river. Kind of marshy, very boggy, very muddy. At high tide it would sort of be covered, but this land here is all reclaimed. All of this over here, this is all reclaimed land here. And you can see on this map here, I can't remember the date, where the water was and how it's been filled in over the decades. We're approaching Cameron Rocks and Newstead. Now, Cameron Rocks was the site of a lot of Indigenous fishing. It was a top spot there for fishing in the river just here. On the port side, you have the end of Bulimba, the little point of Bulimba going around there. From there across to Newstead, that was also an Indigenous crossing point. Just passing on our starboard Newstead House. That's the oldest house in Brisbane. 1846 was when it was first established. Obviously it's been added to and extended over the years and changed. We're currently travelling at about 5 knots. Tenerife, we're just passing the wool stores. I made a video about Tenerife, you can take a look at that one. Apparently it is Brisbane's most expensive suburb. But when you look at this today, you've got to realise that this was all wharves along here and ships coming down. And then during World War II, you had a submarine base just a little bit further down, and you might have 5 or 6 US Navy submarines lined up, ready to sail off into the South Pacific and see action. Now we're passing the old Powerhouse. This is the Powerhouse Theatre. This was opened in 1928, and I believe it was one of the main power sources for the tram network.
Seriously? Why does it happen?
So now we're coming up onto a Brisbane icon of sorts. It's known as the Pink House or the Pink Mansion. It dates from the 1980s. It was built by Keith Lloyd. He was a Brisbane businessman. At one time, Keith Lloyd was the president of the Shaftesbury College. However, he was banned from ever setting foot in the college again for having inappropriate relations with some of the young females. He sold it though. He sold it in 1993 for $6.8 million. The last I heard, there was an Australian Chinese businessman who owns it, but he only uses it for holidays. So he's most of the time, 99% of the time, the house is empty. Coming up now on Kangaroo Point, and just across the river there, that was the site of the Evans Deacon shipyards. That big slipway there, that was actually the Frank Nicolin slipway. The largest ship ever built in Brisbane was the Robert Miller in the 1970s, and during the 1974 floods, she floated out and was partially damaged. The shipbuilding really got underway there at the beginning of World War II to build military vessels and merchant vessels for the war effort. I'm getting hungry too. I'll have a chip. Thank you. Yeah, these are really nice. These are those sour cream and chives rice crackers. Where we are right now is coming up to the Howard Smith wharves, and this area here, this of course was all a quarry. This was all cut out. You can see it over there.
try and define the term laid-back luxury. Our Steamer 4380 is 17 tonne and 50 foot long. And on board we have life rafts, we have life buoys, and we have life jackets to always make sure you're comfortable and safe on the Brisbane River. Type of events on Aussie Princess, we tend to do a lot of bucks parties, a lot of hens and corporate Christmas parties. We love partying with the groups on board our boat. Always interesting to see what everybody's music taste is. If you want to come for a charter with us, just give us a call. We can help you out with any of the ideas you may have and get you on board the Aussie Princess to cruise with us.
Coming up on the Kangaroo Point cliffs and the old quarry. This was the first quarry here in Brisbane, about 1826 to about 1976. Very, very long time. It was Commandant Logan who really got this going, and the very early stone-built buildings in Brisbane were made from rock chiseled out here. In fact, the commissariat store, which we'll be passing soon, was made from stone quarried from here. Oh, they're noisy. Look at that. The rocks of Kangaroo Point date to the late Triassic. That's about 230 to 220 million years ago. That was at the time when the first true dinosaurs were starting to appear. Just over that way there is the Botanic Gardens. That was established in 1828, and it was an absolutely essential place to bring in crops and fruits and vegetables and things and try to propagate them at the Moreton Bay Penal Settlement. And that's the old commissariat store, built from 1828 to 1829. Just across the river, over there in 1830, appeared on horseback the ghost of Commandant Patrick Logan. He had been murdered by Indigenous people while he was out exploring out west. And just after he was murdered, the ferryman who was over here on the north bank of the river saw Logan, beckoned to him, "Come over, I need the ferry." So the ferryman came over the river, over there somewhere, to pick up what he thought was Logan, and he got there and the vision had vanished. I think we were in their way. They were waiting for us to go, and the skipper of the City Cat floored it as soon as we went past. Get out of the way. I want to go and dock and get rid of my passengers. Another City Cat. What else we got? Look at that. Wow. On this side of the river over here, the main city park, just over there, that was primarily blue river gum woodland over that side. Over the South Brisbane side and going around Kurilpa Point and West End, that was the area of very, very dense rainforest, just like over at Hamilton. That's that Kurilpa Bridge just there, which means on this bend in the river that we're coming around to now, this was another crossing point for the Indigenous people. From there over to the the northern end of North Quay in the beginning of Coronation Drive. I don't know where the William Jolly Bridge is. The William Jolly Bridge opened in 1932. Is it? Yeah. William Jolly was the first Lord Mayor of Brisbane. Prior to that, he was the Mayor of the Windsor Shire. Phenomenal. Sunrise room. Philip's kindly just turned the boat around to point towards that structure over there. A lot of people think that it's an old lighthouse, but it isn't. That's a gas stripping tower. Just behind there was I think it was just called the West End Gas Supply Company, something like that. Closed down, bulldozed, and it was moved into this park some years ago. Very, very beautiful. Unfortunately, some people have graffitied the top of it. Oh, and one more thing, Coronation Drive over there, that used to be known as River Road. It changed its name in 1937 as a result of the coronation of King George VI, also known as Bertie. What an unreal way to spend a day exploring the history of the Brisbane River and the human impact on it. And it really is a beautiful river. So, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button, and I'll see you again on the next journey. Oh, hi. That was